To Cryptos Are Us, I am George. We are all George. We are all one. So, in this stream, I want to talk about, of course, the Bitcoin dump. A lot of you guys are very fearful about this Bitcoin dump that was caused by 14,000 Bitcoins that outflew from our friends at F2 Pool. So I'm going to take a look at the charts with you guys, explain exactly what's going on, how this data is undisputable, and why we need to look at this going forward. If you guys weren't convinced before, I think you'll be convinced now. And my other second part of the title is the end near. I don't mean the end of Bitcoin. I mean, is the dump, the end of the dump near? And I have some good news about that, so I'm going to share that with you guys in this stream. So, thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, smash up the like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Make sure you hit that notification bell and follow me on Twitter, especially on Twitter, since I've been having a lot more content on Twitter and been getting like information out, you know, in between these streams, right? So make sure you follow me on Twitter. Everything is in the description of this video. All right, guys, let's get started. Those of you guys that's already in, welcome. Over 2,000 in the chat already. Let me flip my screen here. So, what is going on? Bitcoin is at 46,000. Let's just round up 47,000, which, on the grand scheme of things, that's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. In fact, at this point, it's still higher than our low point from a few days ago, which was around 45,000. So we're actually 2,000 above that. But of course, we did have a little dip from this morning when Bitcoin was above $50,000. In fact, it went up as high as $52,000. And now we're around $47,000, right? So what is going on? Well, of course, I have to relate it to our friends at F2 Pool. Now, someone showed me a video from Box Mining that he was asked about this. And Michael said, no. It's nothing to do with F2 Pool. This is just a normal event. But you know what? I don't feel like he looked at the charts. He didn't look at the charts. If you look at this chart, it's undisputable what has happened and what is causing the dump. So let me move my camera, and you could see that. There we go. Oh. Apologize. Had my dog was barking in the background. But there we go. So you could see, this is the day chart outflow from F2 Pool. And 14,000 Bitcoins. 14,000 Bitcoins outflew from F2 Pool. And when you zoom in, it looks even worse. So I'm just going to zoom in here. And this morning when I showed you guys this, I said for the last 2 days, you can see February 24th, 25th, a lot of outflows, but smaller amounts, but like 300, 400, 200, it adds up. And then you could clearly see when Bitcoin started to come up 51, 52,000, guess what? Look at this. How could you dispute this? Do you think that this is tens of thousands of Bitcoins that's outflowing, right? So everyone, 1,100, here's a 400, 2,400, 2,500, 1,000, and look at this one, 3,200. That's a lot of Bitcoins that just came out of F2 Pool. Now, some people might argue, well, maybe this is like, I don't know, some miner or miners that's fearful and selling out, right? Maybe it's not a thing with F2 Pool. Well, let's look at the second biggest mining pool out there. Let's look at Poolin. Do you see a mass exodus of Bitcoin flowing out? Look at the difference between F2 Pool and Poolin. Do you see the difference there? This is what like a normal pool would be like. Maybe there's periodic outflows. But this is what a not normal pool looks like. right? So you could see, and then it's not just them. What about Ampool? Ampool had zero output. There's nothing outflew from Ampool. And here's the aggregate of all the miners outflow. Look at this chart. Does it look identical to this? Yes, because only F2 pool had this much flow out. It came from one mining pool. So it's not miners trying to take profit. It's not miners trying to sell at top. Obviously, we're not at top. So there's a lot of people that just will not believe this. But how can you dispute the fact that you have 14,000 Bitcoins leave today on a day when Bitcoin is showing weakness? Is that a coincidence? No, because it happened here. It happened many times before. So how can anyone still dispute this? I just don't get it. So this is what happened, right? Here's the good thing. Here's the good thing. You could see that after this last big dump, 3250 Bitcoins, you could see the next 2 hours was just very little, 70 and 80, which is normal. So it seems like the whales or whale or F2 pool themselves, I don't know who, combination, it seems like their dumping has come to a conclusion that they were trying to push Bitcoin down as much as possible. And this is the absolute limit that they can do. And if that's the case, this is amazing. Amazing if you think about it, that 14,000 Bitcoins was used to short and bring down the market, and Bitcoin only fell to 47,000. So if you take a second to think about that, that's amazing. Amazing. If you do the math, 50,000 times 14,000 Bitcoins, that's like almost $750 million. It's like 700 something million. So they sold that much, and Bitcoin literally just absorbed all that. And that's because there's so many buyers at this point. This is what I was saying earlier today, that if you have collectively everyone that is not fearful, that is holding strong, that continues to accumulate and buy the dips, collectively this power is a lot more than what F2 pool whales can do. So this looks like this could be the end. Now, the $1 million question is, what if they didn't use it yet, right? What if it's just sitting there waiting to be used? That could be a possibility, but I would think that they would have used it by now, because they've been selling more and more and more and more and more. And you can see the price has gone down, but just didn't really go down that much. So tomorrow is futures expiration. This is the big thing I was talking about. This is why when this first happened and I said, watch out, this is a, like a sign, right? Right before futures expiration week. This was, none of this was an accident. None of this was an accident. If you pay attention, it all makes sense, right? But like I said, the fact that they tried this hard, and Bitcoin still held at 47,000. In fact, if you look at it, if you zoom in a little bit, so I was looking at this, and let me remove the volume. You could see that 46,000 was as low as they pushed it. It didn't even hit 45,000. And now it has come up, it stabilized around 47,000, right? And we will see, seeing how there has been no more big outflows, it seems like the selling pressure has stopped. And that's why Bitcoin is now showing that it hit a bottom and it is climbing back up. And you know what? We may see the opposite of what we saw a few days ago. This is the liquidations that has happened over the last week. Of course, when we first came down from 58,000, we had a $1.4 billion liquidation. Then we had a $900 million liquidation. These are longs, by the way. Then a $210 million. And then a $337 million. That was actually today, and this is going into tomorrow, right? You could see, obviously, the longs got destroyed. But guess what? A lot of people probably are playing the inverse now, that are shorting Bitcoin because they think Bitcoin will go a lot lower because of F2 pool. But you know what? Come tomorrow, if Bitcoin has a big rally after futures expiration, then we could see a huge liquidation on the short side, and we could see a big recovery in the near future. So that is one thing that could be coming tomorrow. Now, futures expiration, the date, the exact time tomorrow, I've looked it up before, but it's some weird London time. It's like 3 p.m. London time, which translates to like 11, 12 o'clock for Eastern, 10 or 11 for Central, and you guys do the math, right? So it's sometime in the morning. By the time I stream tomorrow, it should be right at expiration. So, and we will see what happens then. But as I've been streaming all week, I've been talking about how the whales just don't want Bitcoin to be above 50,000. Every time it went above 50,000, it sold a little more, sold a little more, sold a little more. Obviously, the selling increase intensified, and that's why we dropped to 46,000. But now we're back to 47,000, and it looks like Bitcoin wants to recover. There's a lot of bulls. There's a lot of people looking to buy cheap Bitcoins, and that is exactly what we're seeing right now. So, is the end near? We could have seen it already. That 46,000 could have been the bottom, right? Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is another push down. But right now, it's looking like it is holding very well, and the outflow has stopped. But of course, that can stop again. So we'll just have to see what happens later tonight going into tomorrow. So that's exactly what has happened. And a lot of you guys have joined in on the conversation on Twitter. I've been tweeting these out, right? Showing my support, letting people know what's going on. A lot of you guys have joined in. So make sure you continue to do so. Let other people know what is going on, because there still seems to be a disbelief on this, that somehow F2 pool is not involved. Somehow this is just normal activity, that Bitcoin is just taking a breather, which it does do. But when the data clearly shows that you have 14,000 Bitcoins leave F2 pool, and basically no other pool out there has any kind of outflow, you can see the difference, then it clearly there is something going on. There's something definitely going on here, right? But the good news is the end may have been, a few minutes ago when we hit 46,000. So now we are on our way to recovery, and I look forward to that. But as I've been saying throughout this whole week, the way we stand up not only is to let people know about it, but also collectively, we can't be fearful about this. We can't be panic selling. If anything, we should be panic buying. There's a lot of discounts out there, even though this dip was actually not that bad. Actually not that bad at all compared to some of our previous dips of 30%, 35%. This is actually quite tame, but still, nevertheless, there are a lot of discounts out there. So this is definitely time to be dollar cost averaging. I've been telling you guys I've been dollar cost averaging throughout this week, right? You never know really the top or bottom. The only thing you could do is average out your buys. So definitely a good time to pick up some more cheap Bitcoins, cheap altcoins, cheap a lot of things. And when we're past this, when Bitcoin starts rallying again, making the next leg up, we could see it go as high as $90,000 as next leg up. So, and by then we'll just all forget about this. We won't even forget about this dip to 45,000 because it'll just seem really silly then. All right, that's pretty much it. That's what I want to cover about F2 pool. Obviously, this is what happened today, right? And we'll have to see what happens later on today and tomorrow. All right, I'll turn to you guys for some Q&A action. I did miss some super chats recently. Let me see here. Ben Bustle, since it was 750 million in BTC, is it possible that FTD's big sell-off for ADA and pulled today? I don't think so. That was just announced, but maybe. But they announced, yeah, so there was a big, I guess a hedge fund. I don't know if it's a hedge fund, just a holding company that declared that they were going to sell off Bitcoin to buy Cardano and Polkadot of all days. And that figure was actually $750 million. But, so yeah, that is a coincidence. But to sell it off right now just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially during futures expiration. And trust me, they're no fools. They have people advising them that actually tell them exactly when to sell and stuff, right? And they would not be doing this to cause a market dump. They, just like Michael Saylor, they would do it through OTC market, do it through 1,000 different trades and make sure that things don't actually go down, because then that would be silly. Then they would actually have to sell more Bitcoins to buy Polkadot and Cardano. So it's a good theory, but I don't think that's it. I don't think that's it. Dennison says it was red for the regular market too. It could be a correction for both markets. Yes, it could, but this is too much of a coincidence. If none of this happened, right, and there's been times where I streamed, I looked at F2 pool, I'm like, yeah, there's no selling. This is perfectly normal. Yeah, it could be one of those times, but how could you, when you have 14,000 Bitcoins outflow there, that's not natural. That's not. Charles asks thoughts on AMP and Flexa. Actually, search my channel. I actually created a video dedicated on AMP. I actually really like the project. I think once the pandemic is over, AMP and Flexa will definitely gain more traction because they're primarily involved with retailers, brick and mortar stores that not a whole lot of people is going to right now. But when things are getting back to normal, I think it'll definitely help them. But interesting project, and I like it. I like it. Andrew, thank you. Glenn asked, do you think there's a chance after pool is Chinese organized crime to tie rats? You can't rule it out. I mean, there's nothing, no company in China that's big that isn't involved with the Chinese government in some way. Like literally every single company that is publicly traded, that has a decent amount of market cap, is either, they have like someone within that is working for the government, or someone reporting to the government, or something else with it. That's just how it works. That's how it is in China. So I don't know. I can't rule it out, but I don't know. There's just something fishy about F2 Pool. And that's why their logo is also a picture of a fish. C1 Audio, can you explain how 1 billion of BTC being sold moves the price when it's such a small percentage of total market cap? Well, you realize the price that's shown is basically the market price on the spot exchanges. That's the price, okay? So the number of Bitcoins being sold on spot exchanges is relatively small compared to the overall number. So yes, the price might be fluctuating here, but vast majority of Bitcoin is just held by holders. So they're not really affecting the price. Just like when you buy through OTC market, if someone sells you a large amount of Bitcoins, it's not going to raise the price because you're just doing it off the books, right? But everything that these guys are doing it on the books on purpose because they want to drive prices down. If they're just selling on the OTC market, you wouldn't even notice this. So that's the difference between purposely doing this on the spot market versus not doing it on the spot market. So that's how they're able to do it. Where did F2 Pool's BTC go? I did not see levels in important exchanges. Well, you have to look. I looked at the ones that at least CryptoQuant offered. I didn't see it, but there's a ton of exchanges out there. A ton that CryptoQuant does not track, right? So it could have gone into a number of them. We just don't know. It could have been spread out. It could have been spread out many different ways to kind of prevent people from looking at it. But it definitely went somewhere. It definitely went somewhere. Josh asks, how and why is the media and other heavy hitters calling out F2? They're not. They're not. I mean, people still don't believe it. They just don't think it's possible. They think that there's no way a mining pool would do it. There's no way that they have enough Bitcoins to do it. There's no way in this. There's a lot of excuses getting out there. But even just if you remove all that, you just can't explain this. You can't explain how when at peak you got 3,600 Bitcoins outflowing, and then a day afterwards Bitcoin starts going down. And I showed you guys there were some big inflows into BitMEX and Bitfinex. And you can't explain why Bitcoin, while it was going down, you see a mass exodus only from one pool and no other pool out there, right? So this thing, you got to put it 1-to-1, right? It's just like what is it? What does Sherlock Holmes say, right? When you, no matter how improbable something is, if you rule out everything else, then that has to be the answer. I butchered that quote, but you get what I'm saying, right? So when you rule out everything else, even though this may be improbable, but this is the only thing left, and it makes sense. So I don't know why the other media is not covering it more. Zden, appreciate the stream. ADA holding strong. ADA is holding very strong. And a lot of other altcoins are holding strong too. How much did F2 pool have? Well, their CEO claimed they had a lot more. And then he backtracked. So I don't know how much they actually have. They've been mining. They've been in large mining pool for a long time. So who knows? Who knows? And it might not just be them, right? It could be a combination thing. It could be the miners, a certain whale that's utilizing F2 pool for some unknown reason. It could be a group of whales. It could be a combination. We don't know, but we know it is from F2 pool for sure. What else? I think that I'm scrolling down here. I might have missed a few. Tim, appreciate that. SAS, crypto, appreciate that. And then Nick asks, we'll have to play this game every last Friday of the month. What can we expect? I'm Big Chuck on Twitter. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. This kind of started in January. The data doesn't really go back far enough, but maybe they were doing it before. But from what I could tell, this started in January. So they started last January, right before expiration. They did it now, right? So we'll have to see if this is a continuing trend. It could be, because my theory was when you have someone that has this much Bitcoins and they're selling and they could drive prices down, then they could make money from futures, right? And it's looking like that theory is holding true. Why else would they be doing this right now, right before futures expiration, right? So we'll have to see if this continues next month or not. I mean, this is kind of getting out there, right? People are paying attention, so whoever is doing it, I don't think they want to keep drawing attention to themselves. If I was them, I would not keep wanting to draw attention to myself. So hopefully this stops next time. But if it doesn't, we'll be able to track it. Radix, never heard of it. EXRD. There's not even a market cap listed. First layer 1 protocol built to serve DeFi. Yeah, I think I looked at this the other day. I don't know enough about it to give you a comment. What did I miss? Serenai, do you still think BTC will dip on Friday? I'm ready to buy more in on today's bottom. I don't know. I feel like based on the outflow and how it stopped and how Bitcoin just stopped at 16,000, and you could see that the low is getting higher now, right? This is like what I call like a momentum shift. So it could be that this is bottom, but like I said, I could be wrong. No one could truly predict it, even though this may be bottom right now. Maybe F2 pool dumps another 10,000 Bitcoins tomorrow, right? And drop things down. You just don't know. That's why you just dollar cost average. If it's low enough, when things are on discount, dollars cost average, get a little more, sprout your buys, and then you'll be golden. Don't try to time bottom, because most of the time you'll be wrong. Dana said no. Yes. But I appreciate it. Crypto 10, appreciate that. TT, I was able to gain 0.25 BTC from you finding this stuff. I saw as soon as you large. Okay, good for you. Congratulations. That's a lot. That's a lot that you can gain right there. Can you explain why alts go down when BTC go down? Because a lot of the traders, first of all, a lot of retail traders, they panic, so they tend to sell off when Bitcoin's going down. But also, a lot of people utilize bots or trading apps that you could auto set where you just sell everything if the market's going down. So a lot of it just tends to go in hand with Bitcoin. That has always been asked for a long time because that's just how it is. Because the market is carried by Bitcoin. The market's carried by Bitcoin, and I don't think that's going to change for a long time. But with that said, there are some altcoins that kind of decouple from Bitcoin, right? Like you could look at someone like Cardano that is still in the green versus Bitcoin, right? So there are some that doesn't really follow at all times. Steven, appreciate that. Derek says the invite list for Vegas will be very short since there's only going to be one name listed, George. So that's true. Andy, welcome. Appreciate that you're here. Sam W says thoughts on CKB. Voyager is promoting it. What is CKB? Nervos Network. Yeah, I did see an email saying that they added them on. Pretty mid-cap, open source, public blockchain, layer 1, proof-of-work blockchain, allows crypto assets to be stored securely, immutably, permissionless nature of Bitcoin while enabling smart contract layer 2. I don't know. That sounds interesting. So it's another blockchain that has layer 2 built in, so it could scale really fast. Ability to target any virtual machine, huh? So that means it could be possibly EVM compatible already. Operate dApps. Yeah, okay. Assets to any assets, so they have interoperability. I mean, that's a lot of big promises. I don't know if that's actually all true. So they're interoperable with any blockchain. They can integrate with any virtual machine. They already have layer 2 solution. I don't know. That seems a lot of stuff already. It sounds interesting, but big claims. I have to do more research on them. Oh, you see? You see? Someone just said big candle. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's going up. So like I said, that 46,000 could be bottom. I mean, I've noticed this. I was studying this chart. You know, I pretty much leave this on and I just sit in front of my computer all day and look at this. And I was talking to my patrons. I'm like, 46,000 looks like it's bottom. Like something changed here, right? You could see the pattern change rather than just up, down, up, down. It stopped here, and you can see it started forming higher lows, right? So it could be that is bottom, and Bitcoin just carries up past 50,000 tomorrow, right? Like I got done saying, a lot of people probably anticipate that Bitcoin's gonna go lower. They may have open short, a lot of leverage shorts at this point. So right now, even though the longs have been losing, tomorrow if Bitcoin has a short squeeze, it could go up really quick and liquidate a lot of shorts too. So it's good to see. It's good to see. SAS Crypto, besides Bitcoin, in your opinion, what's your next favorite for the rest of 2021? This is unpopular opinion, but if I was going for something that I think has huge potential, that the timing is perfect for, right? I would pick Binance. I would pick Binance Coin. Because all these DeFi projects are looking to move to Binance Smart Chain. I know Cardano's on the verge of being done later this year. Polkadot has a lot of traction, but man, Binance, they are just huge. They have a whole ecosystem, and they have token burning. They're deflationary, There's still a lot going for them. So I like Binance Coin a lot. George Hernandez, appreciate that. Big one, big super chat. Dio Day asks, couldn't I trade my alts if it's not doing well to BTC when it starts going up and then trade it back? Of course you can. Of course you can. Right? Or you could trade it to a stable coin. But, you know, a lot of times when you trade and you try to outguess the market, sometimes you lose out. Sometimes you make the wrong trade. Right? Like maybe you trade the Bitcoin or you trade the altcoin and one moves faster than another. So, you know, be careful, especially if you're new. A lot of times you make a trade and you feel like, oh yeah, I gained. I made money or something. But then you realize your BTC value goes down. And that's what you don't want. You want to get as much BTC as possible in terms of your overall BTC value of your portfolio. You want that to be going up, not down. So be careful with that. Tyrone, appreciate that. Kevin asks, check Etika protocol. It rewards people for participating in open source medical research. Yeah, you told me that before. I don't believe in medical research, open source medical research. I might check it out later, but it just makes no sense to me. Medical research is all about dollars. They protect everything. I just don't see why open source would be a good, would prosper. Anyways, I'll check it out later. Chris Chu, appreciate that. I can't find a sell button. I'm all in on ETH. Think ETH will hit 1,200. I'm in at 1,600. I don't think ETH will hit 1,200. Even if Bitcoin went down, you know, to 4,500 or lower, it's hard for me to see Ethereum going back down to 1,200. I mean, even if it did, so what? It was at 1,200 not too long ago. It just hit 1,800, 1,900 recently, right? But man, things have been moving up really, really quick. Really, really quick. So, Chris, another one. Thank you. What's your thoughts on BCH? Hey, there's Jorge. What are your thoughts on BCH? I think it has potential, but I took a loss. Yeah, I'm not a fan of BCH. Not one bit. Bitcoin Cash is garbage in my opinion. It was a money grab by by Roger Ver and Jiwan Wu from Bitmain. It failed. Jiwan is out. Roger is still trying to do his thing, but BCH is a failed project. There's no one using it. Despite the fact Roger's like, oh, we got so many merchants using it. No, you look at the transactions on the network, it's all-time low. They're so low, they're vulnerable to a 51% attack. So they're not good at transactions. They're not good at store value. So go with Bitcoin. Go with Bitcoin. I hate Bitcoin Cash. Guys like Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, all they're doing is steal thunder away. And I saw a recent exchange. I forgot it was OK Coin or someone that decided to delist Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin SV on purpose because they think that all they're doing is confusing new people into the space. And I agree with that. Boomer Dave, appreciate it. Appreciate you tuning in. Both my streams. Switchblade, BC adoption will occur when majority of altcoins die. No, I don't believe that at all because they don't even compete. That's the thing. I think a lot of people still think that Bitcoin competes with Ethereum and others. It doesn't. Bitcoin is by itself. Bitcoin is digital gold. That's what it is. It's a store of value. It's a hedge against inflation. Now, you could build on top of it. You could utilize it, right? You could pay for things. But ultimately, it's not a utility like Ethereum or Polkadot or Binance Coin, right? You don't have dApps that's built on top of it. That's not what it's built for. So the alts do not compete with Bitcoin. I don't see why people still make that mistake. I hear people all the time saying, oh, Ethereum could pass Bitcoin or this and this. It's better for Bitcoin. No, it's not. Ethereum is not a store of value. It's not. It's not deflationary. It's inflationary, right? But that's not the purpose of Ethereum. Ethereum spawned ICOs and DeFi and NFTs that can't possibly come out of Bitcoin. It's just not made for that. So I don't agree with that at all. Chris Chu, do you use fractal indicators? They seem to be suggesting BTC plunging more. If you're looking at it, like if you're comparing it to, I think what you're saying is like if you compare it to like this time frame, because if you look at before like this, and then it went this and it kind of went up, kind of like what we're seeing now, like the next phase would be up. So if you're looking at it that way, yes, but it's a different scenario because this was expiration week last time. But now we're in expiration week. So I think you can't just look at fractals altogether. I think you have to look at, you have to pay attention to the macro factors, I guess. There's other things that's going on outside. And plus someone mentioned that, hey, the stock market tanked, right? We know that Bitcoin, although decoupled somewhat, not completely decoupled from a major crash. If there's a major panic or something major is happening, Bitcoin will fall with the other markets. But in a normal market, it seems to have decoupled. So hopefully that answered that. Anthony asked about Hashgraph. I'm not a fan of Hashgraph. I feel like Hashgraph is a little bit too corporate. It's not open source. It's like they license it out. The company that licenses it out. Even though it's a free license, they have to approve of it. So it's not open source. So yeah, because of that, I'm a little turned off by it. Ingredients asks, engine and NFTs. I think I've answered that before. You have asked it before. Engine is good. NFTs is here to stay. So it's definitely good. And Engine is in the forefront of NFTs. Although there's a lot of NFT companies, projects. It's hard to keep up. You know, NFTs is like the new DeFi. There's so much coming out. And it's not really clear who the leader is at this point. Although there are a few projects that are very, very solid. Liz, appreciate that. Ray, I appreciate that too. Spark Point. What is it? Non-custodial mobile currency wallet and native supports currency like SparkPoint. Okay. Oh, I saw this before. Yeah, so they're like they're a financial app that helps people get involved with cryptocurrency. So not only is it just a wallet, but they have like they help you learn with games and learning stuff. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff that they built in there. I mean, it sounds good. It sounds good. I've looked at it a few times. Relatively still low market cap, but looking at the exchanges it's on, that's going to limit it a little bit. Not on any major exchanges. So it might be held back because of that. But overall, I've looked at it before. It's not bad. Michael says you're having problems. Well, I appreciate that. How can I email you? I don't know your email. How about you, Michael? You email me because I don't know your email. George@cryptosaurus.com. What's the last? There was one I missed. Opinions of okay, D-Day, Dito Day asks opinion on people like MM Crypto and BitBoy Crypto. Sometimes they seem knowledgeable, I guess, but a lot of times it seems gimmicky. I mean, when you're a YouTuber, there's a fine line between marketing and I guess gimmicky or clickbait, because I was kind of like a little ticked off because someone claimed my title was clickbait, but I actually stated exactly what was going on, right? But you do have to market yourself. Like MM Crypto started a whole thing with like silly faces and like you know, something like that, right? That's his thing. But you know, sometimes you have to do what you got to do to get people in. But the thing is, you have to make them stay. You have to give good content, right? If you don't, then they're going to leave. So it's kind of like a balance act, right? So I get it. But sometimes, so I guess the overall theme is if you go in and you actually like what they say and it stays and they're giving good content, then that's all that really matters, right? And I realized I didn't move my camera around, so I don't know if that was blocking anything. Game beat me. Thoughts on Link? Link, of course, a big dog at Oracle. I've always said that it's really, really hard to compete with them because of their size and because they are Oracle and so many projects depend on them. So they're going to be unstoppable in that space. And plus, they just came out their layer 2 solution, which is really good. And it helps Ethereum too because it frees up some congestion. What do you think about Zap? And then Aaron asks, I think ETH is in big trouble as the developers and project move, right? That is happening. You know, all major DeFi are thinking about moving to a layer 2 solution. That's why layer 2 projects are getting really hot right now, really, really hot. So yeah, Ethereum has to watch out. It's a big dog, but you know, there's only a 6x difference between Binance Coin and Ethereum. There's still a lot of year left. Can it possibly catch up? Can Cardano come up? Polkadot come up? Yeah. So Ethereum does have some challenges, that's for sure. Yeah, so I'm glad I answered a Chainlink one because, yeah, I don't like any oracles outside of Chainlink because all the DeFi projects, every project that have gotten hacked recently, is all because they used an oracle that was not good, and then they all switched to Chainlink afterwards. So until another oracle actually can prove itself, it has a large number of dApps, a large number of projects that are actually utilizing it, and it's they could defend themselves against a hack or 51% attack or something, right? Until that happens, no one is going to compete with Chainlink. People should concentrate on important coins and hearing little coins steal the thunder. I mean, you could argue that, but the little coins that you think are stealing the thunder could turn out to be the big boys of the future. You know, like Cardano when it came out, it was pennies, sub pennies, and it shot up. But at that time, other players were much bigger, so you got to watch out with that. What do you think about community crypto like with Vercoin and Raven? You mean non-ASIC, ASIC resistant mining coins? Vercoin I used to make fun of a little bit because they claimed they were better than Litecoin because they're ASIC resistant. And I'm like, so what? Do you have more people utilizing Vercoin? No. So then there you go. So I don't really think ASIC resistant or not really means anything. Thoughts on Mana Decentraland? I think they're good. They're part of a NFT play, right? Their whole world is NFT, and you can buy things. So I think Decentraland is good. Are we back to ridiculous crypto names like Viking, Swap, Donut, Pancake? Okay. Yes, but you got to realize ICO era was just a bunch of projects, random projects. Most of them are DeFi. Yes, a lot of them will die, but DeFi is very encompassing, and there's a lot of things going on in DeFi. So you can't just ignore that. Well, you could, but then you're just missing out on a lot of gains. So yes, the names are silly, but their use is vast, and there's a lot of traction already. Can you look at Dust? It's the only regulated DeFi project out there. I have a hard time believing that. Privacy blockchain for financial applications. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot that's confidential or private blockchains. But what makes you say they're regulated? We empower businesses to comply with GDPR, financial market, okay. I don't know if that's actually true. I'm neutral on it, not negative towards it, but this is a very crowded space. There's a lot of projects that come out with privacy features just for businesses. What do you think about, Danny asked, what do you think about Brave adding their own DEX? I think that's big. I think Brendan realizes that he has such a good thing, but DeFi is so hot, people are just overlooking Brave. So he's integrating DEX, so that gives people a purpose to hold on BAT tokens. I actually think that's a pretty smart move. I don't know how he's going to do it, but he's going to integrate it probably just like, you know, on this home screen here, right? It already has like crypto trading like ads and stuff like that. Like maybe you could just add a DEX here or something. I think it's a good plan. I think it's a good plan. A lot of super chats. Cress, Podtech, appreciate that. Man, I gotta go. So I'm gonna answer these really quick. Seller, layer 2 solution. Looks decent, but they haven't fallen behind some of the others. So I don't know if they can come back. Thoughts on VeChain? VeChain, very good project. It will be a top 10 in the future. Just wait on it. First, Utopia. Appreciate that. Brent McNarly, are you still long on Bakery? Any chance of rug pull? No, I still like Bakery a lot. Right now, obviously, it's weak because of what happened with Bitcoin. But, you know, you look at a Binance Smart Chain DeFi projects, they're all looking pretty good right now. What do you think about Injective Protocol? They're layer 2, Mark Cuban. Shield them. Injective is more like, I thought they were a creation of synthetic items. I thought that's what they were in. Yeah, I don't know. Let me see. Decentralized. Okay, they're derivatives. Yeah, not synthetic derivatives. I don't know. I don't know what I feel about derivatives, to be honest. So, like right now, a lot of these things we're seeing is caused by derivatives. So, let's just say okay. Okay, Arnie, that's it. Appreciate that. All right, guys. I'll let you guys go. Obviously, today we took a little dip, right? Because of this kind of shenanigans that's going on. But Bitcoin is strong. Make no doubt about it. Bitcoin is strong, right? That is why, despite this push, Bitcoin is still at 47,000. It seems to have bottomed out about 46,000. We'll see if that holds. If it does, tomorrow we could see a very, very good rally day, especially after futures expiration and moving into this weekend. But we'll have to see what happens with that F2 pool going forward tomorrow. But right now, it's looking pretty good. And the good thing is, I think collectively, I think we all did make a difference. I know a lot of you guys were buying the dips, right? Holding strong. I don't hear anyone saying, oh, I panic sold and stuff. I don't think anyone did that. So collectively, we did a good thing. And I think that's why F2 pool and their whales tried so hard to drive the market lower. And it's holding. That's how strong Bitcoin is, and that's how strong the community is. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Until tomorrow, so make sure you smash the like, subscribe to the channel, and wait for my stream tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right, take care, guys. Have a good night. Bye-bye.